Hi everyone, how you going tonight? It's Mel from My Paper Oasis. I am back again tonight just to show you another card and make something with you using this gorgeous little Merry Mice set. It's a really fun set to have, and it's currently on sale until the end of November, so it's a great way to grab this set right now. I've been waiting to play with this for so long. I actually really love this, and I don't mind a little bit of watercolouring either. So this set is really quite cute. So we're going to make a special card tonight. Now the card tonight that we're making, I know it's another Christmas card, but like I said, couldn't wait to play. The card we're making tonight is not one that you're going to likely make 50 of to send out to 5 million people, okay? It's a little bit special and it takes a little bit of time. Hi Audrey, how you going? Can see that you've joined me. So let me show you the card that we're going to make tonight, and I have to apologise for my voice. I think it's hay fever and it's really bad at the moment, but I thought I wanted to show you this card so you didn't miss out. So this is the very cute little card that we are making tonight. I don't know, can you see? I had the idea of making a little bauble from this little mouse, and this is using our gorgeous new stitched framelit, so you can see the stitching that's around here. You could use a circle framelit just as easy, but I wanted to use the stitched framelits because they're so super cute. They're also in high demand, so they're not their code for those are going to be turned off in a couple of days. I think the 22nd of November. So if you want those, you'd better kind of get in quick, otherwise you have to wait until the annual catalogue, which comes out in June next year. So this is the gorgeous card that we're going to be making. I've used our large letter framelits out of our gold foil for this, and a little bit of embossing on the background, and I'll show you how to make this very cute little mousy bauble. All right, let's get started. So you're going to start with, you're going to need a piece of Night of Navy cardstock. So this one we have cut on the short side at 4 1/8 inches. I've folded it in half and burnished it so that I've got a card base that opens like this. Okay. You are also going to need a piece of our gold foil. This comes in a pack of 2, so that's why I said as well, you know, you're not going to be making 50 of these likely. But this one is 5 1/4 inches long by 3 5/8 inch wide, and that is going to be placed on the front of your card like so. And this one is our shimmery white cardstock. I don't know if you can actually see the white shimmer there. It's a little bit tricky to see under this light, but it adds a little bit of a sparkle with this one. This piece you will need a 5-inch piece by 3 3/8 inch. And what we're going to do first is we need to stamp and emboss on this. So in the Merry Mouse set is this tiny little stars stamp set, so we're going to be using that. You're going to need your Versamark ink pad, and you're going to need some of our gold embossing powder and a piece of paper for your gold embossing. So this is just what we call random stamping. I'm just going to ink up the little stars and randomly stamp that over the cardstock. Now make sure that you ink up in between. Now I have a new camera system as well going tonight, a new recording device. So if you can't see what I'm doing, please just let me know, okay? As always, close your Versamark before you use your embossing powder, because if it gets on there it's going to stick. And then we're just going to sprinkle the powder over the top of the card. So I just do it at one end and then run it down. And then I can see where my stars are. And you know, if you wanted to add more, you can add more after you've, you know, done your first bit of star stamping. I give it a flick off. I didn't use my embossing buddy. You can use your embossing buddy. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I'm a little bit slack with that, I'm afraid. And then just gather your embossing powder and pop it back into your pot. Okay. Now you're going to need a heat gun to set your embossing powders. So let's do that. I've got my Stampin' Up! Heat tool here, and I'm just going to flick that on. Sorry about the noise. and we're going to heat up those little stars. And you see them set and change when they're set. So the gun hasn't been on for a while, it's going to be a little bit cold, so just give it a minute. Those ones are done. I feel like we need to cue elevator music. A couple more. And hopefully you can see them changing on camera so you can see what I mean by where they're set. So that's it. Those ones are done. Now you can set that aside because the real work is about to begin. So what you'll end up with is you can layer your card just like so. Okay, that's the base of your card for this card today. So then what you're going to do is you're going to bring in one of your little stitch framelits that we've cut out of, again, shimmery white cardstock. Now I like to watercolour with an aqua pen. So we have our aqua pen painters here. Whenever you use one of these, always make sure that you have some paper towel on hand. As you can see, this one's been used to wipe off. And I like to use my re-inkers to colour. Now you can actually squish the top of your stamp, your ink pad, to get some colour and pick up the colour from that. You can squish it into the lid, but I like to use my re-inkers for various reasons. Like they never seem to run out, and I always have re-inkers on hand to re-ink my ink pads. So I just use a clear block and I just pop a drop onto my clear block because we're going to need to colour this red. So this is watercoloured, that bauble, and that's what we're going to do. So you always need to make sure your aqua paint has got water in it. The tip needs to be wet, as you can see. And then all I do, I'm going to try and do this so you can see this the best way. I might swap these around. Is just drip into, oh, that lid's not on properly. Drip into my ink and then swirl around. And because the red is so dark, I like to kind of lighten mine up a bit. I'm going to tap it off because I've been using it for mixing, and then just pick up the lighter colour. And then you basically just swoosh it. So you can swoosh it. You can put as much or as little as you like. If you want to get a little bit more colour, then just layer it up with colour. Okay, the wetter it is, the kind of better it is as well. Yeah, you can brush that off. And you're going to need to set that aside to dry. You can dab into it if you want. You can do really cool effects if you like. So you can actually drop water onto your paper, and when it's bigger it looks a little bit better than on the bauble. And you can see how that kind of bleeds the paper out, the colour out of the paper. So you can do kind of little effects like that as well. While it's wet, you can push on it with lines and you'll get lines on it and all those kinds of different things. But because I don't have time for that one to dry, I'm going to pop that one aside because I have another one for you. Now we're going to use this, where are we? This little mouse for our stamp today. So he's on a runner of 3. So can you see there? He's on a 3. So what we want to do is we need to stamp him onto a scrap piece of shimmery white again. Now this is messy work as well, people. You will have dirty hands after watercolouring. Because we're watercolouring, we're going to use Stays On ink. Okay, so this is Stays On. Stays On is perfect for watercolouring. It means that it doesn't leach out. So if you use a Memento, chances are it might bleed a little bit. Because I only want this one mouse, I'm just going to stamp into that little one mouse. So can you see that? It's getting a little bit of the other mouse a bit black, but it doesn't matter because we're going to fussy cut this mouse. So we've got him all inked up, and we're just going to use a bit of the end of the paper, and we're just going to stamp him down and stamp him back up and set that aside. Tip with your Stays On, it comes with a little plastic lid. Because it's like an alcohol-y based ink, you need to cover it up or it dries out really quick. So make sure once you've used Stays On that you seal it back up again. So now we've got our little mouse, we're going to do a little bit more watercolouring. So I'm going to colour my little mouse crumb cake, which it looks like I've forgotten to get out, so that's handy. All right, so I'm going to show you just how to colour him. I've got some Old Olive is what I used for his hat and his jumper. So again, just a little drop on your block. You don't need too much. Clean off your brush from before. You don't want the red on there, and that's really easy to do just by running the water out and wiping it off. And then again, dripping onto your block. So you can see the green instantly run, and I don't want this too dark, so I'm just going to pick up a little bit. I'm going to dry it off again because it's super wet now, and just pick up a little bit, and then you just colour him where you want. So again, start light, and then you can colour up. You know, you can darken it up when you want to. So you can even run shadows in if you want, make him a little bit darker at the top of his legs, those kinds of things. So it's really easy to just do a little bit of watercolouring with these inks. Now I'm not going to show you the whole lot, you get the idea by doing that, because it will take quite a while, and I'll need him to dry, and then I'll need to fussy cut him out, which will take forever on video. So I've already done that earlier. So here is, oh gracious, sorry guys. Here is my bauble already done, and here is my little mouse. Okay, so he's already coloured. Can you see that? Okay, so what I'm going to do is, now we need to adhere him, and we need to make this pretty bauble. Okay, so it's really simple to do. We're going to use our fine tip glue pen. Now this stuff I learnt a little bit more about on stage, and it was really, really good. It was like you could use this for things that I hadn't even thought of before. So we're going to use him now for this to make that bauble. And basically we're just going to colour with him. So the thing about the fine tip glue pen is you can see it's got a really fine tip, hence the name. And the lid has this really fine point. When you're not using your glue pen, you need to make sure that you recap it, which is a bit hard to do around the camera. But you need to always reseal it. Otherwise you get the glue build up in this little silver bit, and then it will block. So make sure that you do that when you're using it. So what we're going to do is, yes, it is a glue. So we're going to glue our little mousey down. Yes, that tail was fun to cut out, in case you were wondering. It is quite tricky. So fussy cutting's not for everybody. I love fussy cutting, so I don't mind. And I'm just going to pop him down on the card. Now, this glue can take a little bit longer to dry than, you know, if you were doing it with Tombow. Sometimes you need to put a little bit of pressure down to make it dry. So we're going to put him on there like that. He's all down, so that's fantastic. And then we're going to bring in what we call our silicone craft sheet. I cannot recommend highly enough having one of these, especially when you're doing lots of gluing. It's a fantastic tool, and it's really good. Like these bits, just, you know, if you get bits on them, you can just peel them off. See that? It just comes off. So don't stress if you get some glue and stuff on them. But if you're doing a lot of gluing, this is going to be essential. For a job like this, it's kind of essential. And what you'll find when we do this is the card will bow a little bit, so it will curl slightly. And you're going to need to give this time to dry. You are really going to need to set this aside to dry. Okay? So you're going to need at least, I reckon, it took a little while. I think after a couple of hours it was really kind of good. And even though it is glue, it's not sticky, guys. It's actually really smooth and shiny. It's gorgeous. So don't stress that it's going to be really sticky once it's dry and you can't use it, because it's not. It kind of goes a little bit like Dimensional Magic, if any of you ever had that. So then, oh, actually, do you know what I want to put on this? I want to put a bit of Wink of Stella. Everybody love their Wink of Stella. This one's clear. I love Wink of Stella. It's a bit of glitter. So because it's a bauble, I'm just going to glitter around this. Probably should have done it before I stuck the mousey down, but I did forget. So make that a little bit shimmery. I don't know if you can see that. So even though the cardstock's shimmery, so can you see that? Just makes it even more shimmery and more pretty. And then what you're going to do is colour in your mouse. Now this could take a little while. Okay, so let's start colouring by you just literally squeeze the little glue cap and start colouring around and colour over your mouse. It is like a pen, but you're just squeezing the glue at the same time. Okay, so you're going to do that all over your little mouse friend. And it goes a bit cloudy to begin with, so don't worry about that, because it literally dries clear. If you get any bubbles, so sometimes this stuff will get bubbles in it, you just prick it with a pin. Or your paper piercing tool will work sometimes, but if you just have a pin or something on hand, then that will work as well too. So you just literally like that. Okay, so like I said, you're not going to make hundreds of these. You're going to go through a mountain of glue if you do. It doesn't use, like, it's good with the glue. It doesn't use loads and loads, don't get me wrong. But it's not something that you're going to do 5 million of. And then what you're going to want to do, so you can see that looks pretty much coloured, is you want to get down to the side of your bauble and just glance over it from a sideways glance, because that will highlight anything that you've missed, like his nose hasn't got any glue on it. Okay, so then you just pop that on. And then, don't forget, you need to recap your glue. Please recap your glues as soon as you are done with it. So I know that doesn't look like much now. Oh, jeepers, I shouldn't have moved him. Don't move him, guys, okay? Keep him nice and still and let him sit aside to dry somewhere, okay? I'll fix him up later. And then what you're going to do is you are also going to use our large letter framelits, and you're going to cut a J and a Y out of your large letter framelits, and you're going to adhere everything with dimensionals, okay? So what you're going to do is, if you can see, these are up on dimensionals, and I've cut my dimensionals in half for that. So that's these pieces. You literally just cut them in half, and that's all you're going to need to put on the J and the Y. And then Mr. Mousy, when he dried, I actually put quite a lot on the back of him. Normally I don't. Normally you'd only stick 1 or 2, but because they curl a little bit with the when the glue dries, you want to actually put a couple on the back of him to make him stay put. And then you just make a bow using our trio pack of twine, and just make a little gold bow. And I just curled up a glue dot and stuck that on the top of the card, on the top of the bauble like that. So there you go. Look, I've probably missed quite a few comments, guys. I'm sorry. This one is a little bit tricky to watch all the comments and make the card at the same time. I really hope you like that. It's a super cool effect that you can do with this and not have the glue feel or the glue effect. It literally just looks like a little Christmas bauble, and I really, really like it. The other thing you can do is, we found when we painted Santa, I don't know if you can see that really well on camera, is it made this, we then sprinkled it with the Dazzling Diamonds glitter, and like, it's really raised and really fluffy. It's so cool for Santa as well. You can add ink into the glue bottles themselves, so you can add a colour in there and then colour with that colour as well. And I can't wait to have a go of it, you know, with our fairies as well, and on their wings, and, you know, see how that goes. So I hope you really enjoyed that. Remember, if you really like the Merry Mice, they are on sale until the end of November, so it's a really good bargain at the moment for that. We also have the online extravaganza starting tomorrow, so that's got some really good deals going on there, so make sure you take a look at that. Some deals are only for the 21st and the 28th. And they have really good deals on those days, and some exclusive bundles that are only available for that day as well. Thanks so much, guys. Have a really good night. Hope you enjoyed that. Any questions that you posted, I will answer after I've stopped the video and taken a look. All right, thanks heaps, guys. Have a good night. Bye.